You ever have a day that starts with sneakers and ends with you owning the building? Yeah, that happened to me, and if you're thinking it sounds like a movie, well, you're not far off. So, let me take you back to that night because honestly, it's one I'll never forget. I was standing outside the Bell Ridge Regent Hotel in downtown Birmingham, Alabama, double-checking my phone. Yep, reservation confirmed. I'd booked it under my assistant's name, not because I was hiding, just because it was simpler. Less fuss, less scrutiny. My driver pulled away, and for a moment, I just stood there, staring at this hotel that was clearly trying hard to look important. Limestone columns, glossy awning, gold trim, even two doormen who looked like they moonlighted as Secret Service. It was a place that wanted you to notice it, not necessarily to feel at home. I adjusted my bag, nodded at the doorman, and stepped into a lobby that screamed curated white marble floors, chandelier so big it probably had its own zip code, a scent of perfume piped through the vents that reminded me of old money and new credit. People all around, some young couple sipping neon drinks by the fireplace, a woman clicking by in red heels. All of it felt staged, like one of those Instagram hotels that look better on camera than in person. Anyway, I made my way to the front desk and gave a polite reservation under Amina Travers. The young woman there, Callie, barely looked up, blonde hair, red scarf, typing like she was sending state secrets. When she finally met my eyes, it was one of those glances that sized you up before you even spoke. "One moment," she said, and started pecking at her keyboard, deliberately slow. I stood there, not in a hurry, just watching the show. After a minute, she squinted at her screen, tilted her head, and said, "I'm sorry, I don't have any reservation under that name." "Are you sure it was for tonight?" I pulled out the confirmation email, showed her my phone. She barely glanced. "Strange. We're actually at full capacity, so I can't offer you a room tonight. There's a Courtyard hotel about 15 minutes away." And just like that, she was done with me. I just looked at her, didn't get mad, didn't raise my voice. I've had enough practice in rooms like this to know patience is sometimes your only shield. "Could you double-check the name?" She shook her head, pasted on a smile, and that was that. Meanwhile, a couple who'd been by the fire came up. Callie's whole vibe changed suddenly. She was Miss Southern Hospitality, keys handed over in seconds, "Enjoy your stay," and all that. Me? I stepped aside, no drama. I didn't need to put on a show for people who treat respect like it's optional. Outside, the night air felt cool on my skin. "I called my assistant, they shut me out," I said. She offered to reschedule my meetings, but I told her no. "I'll be back in the morning." And right then, I knew things were about to shift, not just for me, but for that entire hotel. I walked down Fifth, rolling my carry-on behind me, thinking about all the times I'd been sidelined in places like this. If I let every slight cut me, I'd never have built anything. I stopped at the Harwood Inn, a small family-run spot I remembered from my early days. No frills, but honest, clean, and the owner always remembered a face. "Mr. Asda," opened the door with a warm "Evening, ma'am," and by luck, had a room. The place smelled like lemon cleaner and old books. I could breathe again. I checked in and got a text. "Belridge sale clears by 9 a.m. tomorrow. Want a car ready?" I smiled. Sometimes the timing is just poetic. "Yes," I replied, and call Brandon. "I want the transition files ready." Up in my room, I sat on the edge of the bed, mind racing. 10 years ago, Bell Ridge was the gem of Birmingham. Now, bad management, messy PR, barely hanging on. That's where I come in. Fixing broken places isn't about applause, it's about plans. I pulled up staff files. General Manager Hugh Dobson, old school. Mediocre numbers, complaints swept under the rug. And Callie, promoted quick, cold in reviews, a pattern of, let's say, selective hospitality. I flagged her name and moved on to the investment reports. Everything was in place. The only thing left was the final walkthrough and to sign on the line. I lay back and let the memories come. Years of being underestimated, overlooked, first client, first motel turnaround, first offer to buy into a business I'd saved with sweat and late nights. I turned that down. Respect means more when you earn it through grit, not gifts. There was a knock, a cup of tea from Mr. Asda, a quiet kindness that stuck with me more than Callie's dismissal ever could. I wasn't done. Tomorrow, I'd come back not for a room, but for the whole building. That night, I barely slept. Instead, I planned. Birmingham never felt like home, but it built me. My first office was a closet in a strip mall. 16-hour days, clients who didn't care who I was, just whether I could turn red ink to black. I remembered every contract negotiation, every microaggression, every, "Are you sure you want to take on that much risk?" All of it matches in a box, never lit, but never forgotten. By morning, the light crept through thin curtains. My assistant had sent the morning brief legal operations all in place. Before I left, I paused. My path hadn't been clean or easy. I'd lost before, badly a folded office, staff gone, investors vanished. I called my dad that night. He said, "If they can take it from you, it was never really yours." That was the day I started my own firm, with nothing but a laptop and a list of mistakes I'd never repeat. I dressed sharp charcoal suit, flats, no makeup, braids back. As I left, I thanked Mr. Asda for treating me like someone, not something. "Hope they know who they're about to sit across from," he said. I just smiled. Bell Ridge looked the same that morning, polished, gold trimmed. All show, but it was already mine. Inside, my team was waiting. Legal handed me the final paperwork. "Once you sign, it's official." I put ink to paper deliberate, no rush. Each signature closed the old chapter for good. At 10:01, Dobson walked in mid-50s, still clinging to authority. We shook hands, just enough pressure to remind him nothing was assumed. We sat down, reviewed audits, HR complaints, shift management. He tried to push back on reviewing old issues that'll demoralize staff. I looked him dead in the eye. What demoralizes staff is knowing nothing ever changes. The review stayed. Meeting over, I walked the halls as owner. This time, not to be seen, but to see everything. Staff corridors, cuffed walls, tired faces. I stopped to talk to Terrence, a porter been there 5 years. "You like it here?" I asked. He shrugged. "It's a job. Pays on time." I told him, "If something's broken, write it down. Monday, I'll be reading every note." He stood a little taller. In the kitchen, Rosario, the chef, gave me the side eye. "You the new boss?" "I am." "Ever work a kitchen?" "No, but I know what it's like to rebuild from nothing." His scowl softened. "If you're here to fix, welcome. But if it's just polish, I don't do polish. I do people." In the laundry, I met Minda, 20 years, folding sheets, barely noticed. I told her, "Starting next week, you'll get a new schedule, updated equipment, maybe a raise. You've earned it." Her smile was real, the kind you remember. Then came the reckoning. Executive floor, boardroom, Dobson and HR ready. I asked to bring Callie and she looked nervous, eyes darting. "Remember me?" She nodded. "You said you had no room," with my booking in hand. She blamed the system protocol, software glitch. "There was no protocol," I said. "There was a choice. You made it in 30 seconds. She braced for firing. "No. You'll go through training, 3 evaluations, shadow a mentor. This is a realignment, not a punishment." She didn't thank me, but she understood. I wanted this hotel to reflect change, not just revenge. We launched the new staff program, Respect Before Recognition. Every staff member got a booklet with their name. No long speeches, just a message who you are matters more than how you look. Every afternoon, my office door was open to appointments. Terrence came first. It feels different. Someone finally notices. Minda stopped by. "My back's not killing me anymore." Rosario nodded at lunch. "Supplies are on time." Word spread. Callie started shadowing Fuong, a seasoned concierge. First week, she stumbled, but Fuong was patient. "Would you say that if your job depended on it?" Gradually, Callie changed, more listening, less fronting. One day, I watched her greet a guest in overalls, nervous, probably fell out of place. "Welcome to Bell Ridge. Do you have a reservation? Or need help finding a room?" Pure hospitality. The hotel started to change. Community groups booked events, a nonprofit, a poetry club. Staff suggested a welcome board with bios and photos. Minda's was first. People smiled more, stayed longer after clocking out. Even guests noticed. I don't know what it is, but this place feels fairer. 3 weeks later, we held a scholarship fundraiser in the ballroom. No press, just invitations to local schools and families. Minda greeted guests at the door. I stood to the side, just watching. Terrence whispered, "You see the mayor's here?" I grinned. Let him shake hands. This isn't his event. They handed me the mic. I bought this hotel not because it was beautiful, but because it forgot how to treat people. I wanted to create a place where the ones who work here don't just feel useful, they feel seen. Dignity isn't earned through job titles. It's given the moment someone walks in the door. The applause was honest, but I slipped away before it got loud. A young woman named Masha, one of the scholarship kids, found me. "I want to own, not just manage," she said. "You think you'd ever mentor someone like me?" I said, "I already am." We swapped numbers, no performance, just a promise. That night, I lingered in the ballroom, remembering when I wasn't even allowed in places like this. Now I was building them. But lessons don't stick unless you pass them on. Next morning, I posted a note on the staff board. "This place used to shine on the outside and stay hollow inside. Now it breathes because of you. Make people feel like they belong, not just because it's your job, but because it's your space too. You matter. You're seen. You're not temporary." Swati. Downstairs, Callie checked in a middle-aged Kulino luggage, wrinkled clothes without blinking. Our eyes met. She nodded, not just in recognition, but respect. Upstairs, Masha brought her binder questions to the rooftop cafe, hands shaking. "You don't have to get everything right at once," I told her. "Just lead with clarity, stay honest. People will follow." She whispered, "Thank you. I never thought I'd be allowed in a place like this." I smiled. I wasn't either. I had to make space. You don't wait for people to open the door, you buy the building, change the locks, and decide who gets welcomed next. Maybe that's what I want you to take away. You don't always get the respect you deserve when you walk in the door, but you can build a place where no one else has to earn it just to exist. If this story made you think, share it. Let's talk about what's right, what's fair, and how we can make the spaces around us a little more honest, a little more human. You know what I mean?